with neutral colors. So if you're lucky enough to have hardwoods under the carpet, you can either pull the carpet out completely and take the tacking strips out and remove the staple tacks that hold down the padding. But just a light buff will bring them back to life, unless you have a pet who decided to use the rug instead of going outside, or you had a plant in a corner that you overwatered. Stains will have to be dealt with separately, and it is possible to do repair, but you always want to use a professional to refinish the floors. You want to trust me on this one. I've seen too many clients who think they can do it themselves. Nope, you don't want to do it yourself. It's just not worth it. And when I sell a senior's home, a lot of times when they bought the house, the builder put in hardwood floors and they were gorgeous. But back in the day, homeowners who are older, they thought that carpet was the way to go. That was a luxury upgrade. And so those wood floors have been protected for many years. And when the carpet is pulled out, those floors are gorgeous. There's a honey color to the finish that you cannot replicate easily. So don't be afraid to at least pull back a corner and show off the wood floors that are underneath. You'll be glad you did. The fifth thing to remember that's not going to get your money back: don't use bold or vibrant paints. It's going to take a longer amount of time to find a buyer who thinks like you do with your color scheme. It may be your preference, but not the buyer. Repainting a bright color or a dark color will take an extra coat of paint, and you'll have to prime it first. And it may take more to even cover the old bright color in favor of neutral shades. I once had a client who had her entire interior painted in bright hot pink fuchsia color, and her husband was colorblind, so he never knew the difference. But she wanted to sell the house and move to a different style house in the same area. And I told her, I said, she's going to have to cover over the hot pink. And she just was in tears because she loved that color so much. And I said, well, it's going to take me a very long time to find somebody who wants hot pink interior. So she didn't want to do it. So I had agents come in and they all said the same thing: get rid of the hot pink. So she tearfully got rid of it, painted it neutral shades, and the house sold right away. And I told her, I said, look at it this way: when you move to your next home, you can paint it whatever color you want, because you're probably not going to move for 20 years. And she hasn't yet. And yes, she did repaint her interior of her next house with hot pink. The sixth thing is, don't over-improve your kitchen. Just keep it to the basics. Functionality is important. You don't need really high-end appliances unless it's $1 million plus house. And then, yes, you'll have to think about that. But if it's just a normal everyday kitchen and it's going to be used, you want the functionality and the design to be the best thing. You may have to redo the layout of the floor plan to make it easier to maneuver around, but just keep it to the basics. Pick a simple cabinet and a quartz type countertop. Granite is not as popular as it used to be. Quartz is now the big thing because it's easier to take care of. But the functionality is going to be more important than doing all kinds of fancy stuff. The seventh thing to remember is that fancy bathrooms, when you do them, they're hard to keep clean. And whirlpool tubs are yesterday's favorite. People they soon realize, oh yeah, it's nice to fill up and use all these gallons of water and soak for a while. But boy, is it hard to keep it clean, because I have to fill it up with water every time I want to sterilize it and get rid of the bacteria that accumulates. And so people get rid of them. So a big double wide walk-in shower will appeal to more buyers in the long run. The eighth thing to remember is, do not combine bedrooms to create a bigger one. It decreases the home's value. I once had a client who took a small bedroom next to the bathroom, and she added the bedroom square footage to the bathroom, and she enlarged the bathroom. Yeah, it was really nice, but then the house only had 2 bedrooms on the main level and this huge bathroom. So it took a while to find the right buyer. And there was a bedroom in the basement, but nobody wanted to go down there because it wasn't a legal bedroom. So she didn't do a good job spending her money, but she had a beautiful big bathroom that she loved. So you can't account for everything. The ninth thing to remember is, don't remove a big closet to create another space. People really always want more closets. They may not need a larger bedroom or bathroom, but boy, closets, you can never have enough. Number 10 item is sunrooms are really not a good renovation. In fact, they're one of the worst that you can make as far as getting any return on your investment. And Remodeler Magazine has an annual cost versus value survey that they do. And sunrooms are very low on that return on investment. It's better to probably consider a screened-in porch or a deck before you consider a sunroom. The 11th thing is, are you going to convert a garage? Well, rethink that one. No, just no, don't do it. Some homeowners park in their driveway and then renovate the garage into a custom space, like a home gym or something like that. Many buyers want to park in the garage. So if you want a gym, don't make the equipment permanent. You can always remove it when you sell the home. So I just want to close with saying, here's some helpful tips on surviving a remodeling project. First of all, it's important to stay organized. You want to find a central spot to store your tools and equipment that you'll use every day. And that way you don't have to search everywhere trying to remember where you left the hammer or the screws or the drywall compound. The second thing is planning is practically perfect in every way. So you want to make a detailed master list of the projects that you want to complete. Make it as detailed as possible. Chances are you'll probably leave out something, so you need to allow for extra time on each project. And tasks that you thought wouldn't take very long may very well end up taking much longer. The third thing to remember is that your budget is very important. And I want you to think through what you're really going to need for each project, then think through it again. The measure twice, cut once operation. But include the tool rentals that you may have to cover. You're not going to want to go out and buy a bandsaw, but you can rent one. And then add 10% to your budget at least to cover any kind of surprises. The fourth thing to do is you want to cook ahead and freeze meals or use an air fryer, that kind of thing. At the end of a hard day, you really may not even feel like running out to eat or even having a pizza delivered. So make sure you have a separate area for your coffee mug, plastic utensils, disposable plates, paper towels, dish soap. A microwave will come in real handy here, toaster, that sort of thing. The fifth thing to remember is when all else fails or it seems to be an overwhelming project, hire an excellent general contractor to do the work. And here's some basic strategies I just want to give you on hiring a contractor. You want to ask basic questions like, what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? Do you need more living space, an extra bedroom, bathroom, upgrading an existing bath? Do you need to correct a poor layout so it flows better? Be sure to ask yourself if you're going to use the space enough to make it worth your while you spend money on it. Will it really improve your home's value? It could be that the money you're spending on upgrades or improvements could be put towards selling your house and moving to a bigger one or a better house with a better floor plan that's already there. As I've mentioned in other podcasts, architects, kitchen and bath designers, and others in the field can convert your wish list into a detailed plan, and they'll be able to give you a rough idea of how much it's going to cost. So that $35,000 project may wind up costing $80,000 or more. The more design work that's needed as a guideline, you'll just benefit from hiring an architect or interior designer, and they really charge by the hour, depending on what services they provide you, or they'll take a percentage of the final construction price, especially if they are supervising and overseeing the entire project for you. And you want to investigate the contractors thoroughly and ask for referrals from satisfied customers, but check them out on review sites. You want to make sure you hire a contractor who does the type of work that you want done. How do they do on a day-to-day basis? Do they start and finish on time? Do they stick to the price they quoted? Are they going to do their best to accommodate your daily routine? Once you've found out maybe 4 or 5, but no fewer than 3 contractors to meet with and review your plan with as much detail as possible, because these people are going to be at your house every working day for weeks or months. So you want to be sure you check out their credentials, references. Are they licensed? Do they have the right kind of insurance? Have there been any past lawsuits or complaints? And then you want to evaluate each proposal by comparing prices, payment schedules, warranties, and how do they handle change orders. Most contractors give you an allowance for the cost of kitchen cabinets, appliances, countertops. So you'll have an allowance if you want a high-end, medium grade, or budget kitchen cabinet, for example. And then you're going to sign a contract with the company you think will do the best job, and make sure you have your attorney review it for you. The contract will include details on the work and who will do it and how they expect to be paid and how often. Sometimes something you may not think of is that any worker who comes to your house to do remodeling can place a lien on your property. And basically that means that he's stating that he was never paid for the work that he did, even if you paid the general contractor in full. So be sure you've included that the contractor has to provide you with a lien waiver for each installment before you pay the next one. And get that in writing so that you know that that subcontractor was paid for labor and materials that were brought into the project. You want to find out when they're going to start, when do they expect to finish, and don't give the final payment until you say it's done. Realistically, the deposit should be as low as possible and the final payment should be the highest. This will give you leverage in getting the best job out of them. And you want to make sure that the contract is, in order to be legally binding, it has to be signed by both parties, but make sure you have the contractor's license number and his address and yours on it. And, you know, it's going to be somewhat disruptive. Your home's going to be in disarray, but eventually you're going to have a wonderful project when you're done. So thanks for listening. This is just a few things to I want you to think about, but I have other podcasts on other topics similar to this. But if you have questions, you can feel free to contact me at moveorimprovewithdebbie@gmail.com.